Me, myself, Patrice Shema. I'm a Rwandan who lived in Britain, and I'm back in Rwanda, obviously, as a motherland. Right, I realized that people actually needed to eat at night, and I thought I'll bring in the street food, which is a mobile kitchen which can find the customers, not customers finding me. So I built this little mobile kitchen, which is quite small but accommodative with everything, and which can provide food for Rwandans during at night. People do like eating at night, especially when they go out clubbing, partying, and others to deliver to their houses. The inspiration was gourmet food, because I was in the UK all this time, so I decided, you know what, we need a bit of this. We need a bit of gourmet food, and we have the natural products that can provide the food in Rwanda, that can provide the sausages that I'm making, the burger buns I'm making, the cheese. So gourmet food is food that is really made from home, from scratch, with everything. So I was inspired by the way it's affordable, it's tasty, it's less costly, and in terms of paying rent, it's actually even cost effective, it's cheaper to move around as long as it doesn't take a big space and everything is all confined inside. So I thought I think the public needed to test some of this experience. I do understand there's a street food. When you talk about street food, kurira ku gasozi, it's quite like a forbidden culture, but it's not what you think. As you see me, I cook and I can even pack food. Same as delivery. You can go to a restaurant. The only bit is that it's a restaurant or a kitchen that moves, it's on the wheels. But on the other hand, you can still get the same kind of food from another restaurant that actually pays rent, and it's statically placed in one place. So that's where the difference is. So it's not about eating on the street as you're going. It's buying and you can go away, and I can even serve you right in front of me. That's how it is. It's basically a kitchen located on a yard or somewhere else in the garden, somebody's garden or whatever. So far we've been on the field in many places for 3 years so far, and it's picking. People love it. People have tasted it. I've given time for people to experience my meals with different sauces and the food, and people really love it. And actually I have a huge follow-up on different social platforms, even direct calls, and I do deliveries nowadays. Yeah, they like the kind of experience, and actually some people have actually thought of opening up something like this. Yes, I have encountered challenges. Obviously, people want to know, they're curious, they want to know what it is, but when they see it open, that's when all the challenges, all the mindset completely changes. Yeah, you see, with life you have to risk, and you have to think out of the box. Me, I'm creative naturally, so I thought, you know what, it will be quite mind-blowing when they see the kind of services it provides. So another journey that I had through that was quite challenging is when I was building it, then COVID hit. My aim was to go for festivals and gigs to provide this sort of experience. Yeah, exactly. So I used the Twitter, used the Instagram. At the moment we're using the platforms because it's still free before they start charging us. So this is quite an opportunity. But one of the challenges is to go into the roads are quite, we don't have many spaces. We talk about the car-free zone, we talk about other free zones, but still there's a lot of restrictions, even though we have the food and health and food and hygiene and health and safety requirements. So, and again, other challenges is to keep training the workers, because they need to understand it. They get overwhelmed once they get inside here, but confidently I lead them through, I guide them through, and they've got the confidence. Now I've reached a point whereby I can leave them and I do other gigs and they go away. It was tough for me, so now I decided to to contact an agent. There's an agent, there's a recruitment agent within town here. I do know very well that they don't vet them really properly. They vet them security-wise, but I vet them by finding out where the backgrounds, whether even if they know how to cook a little bit, I can teach them. But most importantly, I need to find out what they can cook and the willpower of cooking. And I love to help. I want to create a change in the community. Yeah, so those ones who have never gotten a chance of going to school at all. Now, for example, the manager for my company, she came from far, and I've helped her up, and now she's the manager. She can now speak English. She's very confident. She speaks to the suppliers. She actually updates me. She recruits workers. I'm so proud of her. And then we have another one as well, who's the assistant, who's the assistant manager, which is a lady as well. So they're tough. I've discovered that more women are tough in leadership. So that's kind of thing I'm empowering. And obviously the boys, they do the heavy bits and all that, yeah. So recruitment is okay at the moment. It was hard for me because I didn't know where to source recruitments. I didn't know where to source workers, but we trained them. And obviously majority of them don't know where to start, but I just give them the confidence and they're good to go. More than 11. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we have events. I still call them. They know all the beats that I want. They know how to. These guys are like superstars. I can go on the side and just enjoy with my cup of tea, and they do everything. And I've taught them how to be humble. Attitude is key to our customers. Even at night when we're serving customers, they need to know how to speak to them because some of them have got a bit too much of a drink, so they need to understand them. They need to look after them. Their job, our job, is to look after our customers. That's another story right there. During COVID, when I got hit with COVID, I ran out of aprons. My aprons faded. So I thought, you know what? I'm on the Experts in Rwanda forum, which is a Facebook forum. So I decided, why? If I put out an announcement, I'll be able to get denim jeans, discarded jeans. Then I got one of my tailors, one of the tailors who was in my neighborhood. They needed food, they needed support, they needed help during that time because I was doing delivery. So I embarked into delivery on my bicycle. So I got these jeans, put them together, washed them, pressed them, started patchworking and designing them. This is during COVID time. So now that drove the company with the loss of having aprons that are imported, which I liked, which were for my brand. I created another brand through upcycling. So that upcycling, I didn't know it was a trend in Europe. So I had visitors coming in, they looked at my aprons, they say, you know what, this is an amazing project you have here. You gotta come and lecture our students in Switzerland. So I went to Switzerland and sold all of them, came back. There were 60, yeah. I sold all of them. I had even my friends who are Rwandans who bought the last stock that I had. And they're now using them with my brands and they insist they want it in my brand. So that's part of Made in Rwanda, which I created. And I didn't know, you create something and people fall in love. That's when you realize, even though it's valuable for me, but it's valuable for others. So that's sort of creativity. It's the same as here. It's the same as this track. Creativity versus food, they go together. So I lived in London. I'm a Londoner. I love London. And I loved cooking. It was too cold.
When was that?
That was in 2006. In 2006. So I met my spouse there. So we lived there together. And I worked into office work. I found office work boring. So I went into cooking where I had my passion. And I painted a lot. I did exhibitions all around UK. And then I went into cooking. So I married the two. So I cooked in a restaurant called the Trinity restaurant, which was owned by a celebrity chef called Adam Bryant. So I cooked for 3 years. Then I wanted something different. So I moved to Italian dishes, which is in a restaurant called Bella Italia. Then I moved to the English cuisine, quite close to my place. And that's where I got all the experiences. But this is a completely different dish and setup. But in mind, I wanted this one. And I thought, you know what, hang on. I think I just hit a jackpot. I've realized where I'm going to be for my retirement and what's going to be for my retirement. And this is the track. First of all, my parents were refugees in Kenya. And obviously they are Rwandans in 1959. So they migrated to Uganda. And in 1974, I was born. 9 months later, we all migrated to Mombasa. We grew up in Mombasa. 9 months later, when I was born, they migrated. That's what they told me. We went to Mombasa. I grew up in Mombasa, right from the ocean. So I experienced seafood, street food. There's a lot of street food there in Mombasa. So I grew up from there. And with the exposure, you know, being a refugee still, with the exposure of different cultures and foods, I learned how to cook from there. Mom taught me quite a lot of cooking. Oh, 4 years old, 5 years old, we were cooking. Yeah, me? No, we quite many, but I'm the eldest. I'm the eldest. Family of four, yeah. And yeah, so I started off like that. Then we went to Uganda, back to Uganda in 1986. Then Uganda was such an overwhelming place because the culture of cooking. You know, you've got 44 tribes and 44 cultures and 44 food. That is quite an experience. So from insects to each and every item, I had to experience, not testing, but looking, and obviously fish. Then from there, moved to London. No, came to Rwanda, obviously. Rwanda, that was in 1996. That's when I moved to Kigali. Just like, it was quite tough that time. But me being home, that's the joy. So I experienced not so much menus, but quite a few experiences with the drinks and beverages and stuff like that and food. Then I moved to the UK. I never studied in Rwanda. I studied in Uganda. But in the UK, I did, obviously. Yeah. So in the UK, I did my bachelor's degree in graphic arts and graphic designing at University of Croydon, Southeast London. Yeah. So I did my 3-year bachelor's arts there, then even a few other courses in cooking and a lot of experiences. Yeah. So I mean, I got an offer to work. I worked at the Ministry of Justice in Croydon Court for 3 years. Yeah, but then I got an offer to study as a barrister, but still I dumped it. I went into cooking. Oh, the message is just embrace. The world is moving so fast. People's mindset, they've got to allow and be flexible. The food that we provide here is loved, so much loved by people that come in, the foreigners. And actually, guess what? One of my biggest clients during the diaspora time and the summer is the youth who have studied abroad, who have actually been studying abroad under the scholarships of the government of Rwanda. And when they see me, some of them from UK, they just go berserk. They just know what they're going to get. So the youth from the US, South Africa, to Emirates, China, they know. They're exposed into this. They're going to change the mindset. We shouldn't panic. This generation is going to change their mind because they know and they'll move it further. So people shouldn't get scared of street food. It's called street food. Obviously, I'm on the avenue right now, but people love it and it's going to grow. That mindset, the traditional mindset, is fading away.